first we need to streamline the process of being able to start a business in the city of Detroit. There's a lot of examples that we have of people who've come here with the best intentions to create jobs or to start their own business, and they're thwarted by the process downtown. Either they have to go to 4 or 5 different departments to get licensing, permits, and approvals. There's a lot of little fees they have to pay. Or if they have to go in front of the city council makes it very difficult to want to approach them in order to get approval to either buy land or start a business or provide jobs. And that attitude has to change. We can no longer afford to deal the way we have in the past, where we had Ford, GM, and Chrysler to depend upon when it came to investment. It's really our entrepreneurs, and small business is really the backbone of any city, whether it be Chicago, New York, Detroit. We're the ones who create the jobs. We're the ones who provide money to the community, and we're the ones who eventually are going to be the type of group that's going to turn the city of Detroit around. So being able to streamline the process is one thing. Secondly, the city has a lot of buildings that they own that are vacant, and there's plenty of federal dollars available to take those buildings and make them into small business incubators. We have a very successful one here in the city of Detroit called Tech Town. It's doing very well, and we need to have more of those. A lot of students coming out of high school and college, they want to be their own CEOs. They don't necessarily want to work for someone else. So we need to embrace that and make it easier for them to start their business, and give them every resource that we can as a city government to be able to help them to be successful. But what ends up happening is if their business is successful, they end up hiring from the community. That provides jobs, and as we well know, Detroit's jobless rate is one of the highest in the country. So we really need to encourage that as opposed to discourage that. As a city government, we can provide different zones where we say, look, if you're in this particular zone, then your taxes will be less, or we'll provide certain resources to you if you're in this area. But we found that Southwest Detroit, which is the only growing area in the city of Detroit, is very viable when it comes to small business. If you go down Verner, you have just one small business after the other, and they're very self-sustaining. And they've done that over a period of years. We need to do the same thing in different areas of the city. Of course, Northwest Detroit has Livernois, which we're really working hard to increase the businessship there in terms of the variety of businesses that are there. At one point, it used to be called the Avenue of Fashion, and there's been a big push to try to get the business growth on Livernois back going again. On the east side, on Gratiot, we have some businesses going there too, but I really believe there's other areas that can use some tax benefits as well as some type of stimulus to help encourage people to invest in there. Now, when it comes to investment, it doesn't have to be in a small building. It can be in any number of ways that you can invest in someone's small business, whether it be to encourage the improvement of the facade. For example, the mayor does have an initiative where a business can improve their facade by applying for a grant from the city of Detroit. And the city of Detroit will provide 50% of the dollars for that. That's one incentive. But also another is to provide free training for aspiring entrepreneurs. And so it's not just providing it in certain areas. Of course, Wayne State has a very viable research area. As many of us know, that the state of Michigan is #2 when it comes to research, and a lot of that is because of the areas around our great institutions like Wayne State, University of Michigan, and Michigan State. But we also can build up around the city. There's certain areas of the city where, of course, our land is completely vacant. We can take some of that land, and people who want to become their own urban farmers, we can take that land, divide it up, allow them to start their own little urban farming business. We found that an entrepreneur has decided that because there's certain areas of the city that doesn't benefit from fresh fruits and vegetables because we don't have any grocery stores in those areas, she's taken upon herself to actually take a van, sort of like an ice cream truck, and go from different communities to sell fresh fruits and vegetables. That's another way to encourage our entrepreneurs. So it doesn't necessarily have to be stationary, but we do have to find ways to allow people who have these innovative ideas to thrive here in the city of Detroit, whether it be on the east side or west side, southwest side, or north side. Well, you brought up the part on people who hold on to buildings and they end up becoming dilapidated. One thing I would do is find ways to increase the ability of the city to be able to take over a property if certain code violations go on for a period of 12 months, 24 months. The city can take that property over and then resell it to some viable entity for, let's say, $1, and then also help get government funding for the type of structure, type of businesses that go in those buildings. I think we can go a long way into seeing our business revitalized there. One example I have is the warehouse district. Warehouse district was fairly viable up until the time we put casinos in. The casinos talked about putting their hotels down in the warehouse district. Now we find there's very little investment there, but there's abandoned buildings. We've seen many cities take areas like that, such as Atlanta, and take the entire area and renovate it, putting them to lofts, art galleries, bars, and restaurants. We need to do the same thing down there. We need to look at the people who own the buildings down there and sit them around the table and say, look, this is what we want to do with this area. And either you're going to get on board or we're going to find ways to remove you from the property. Now, obviously, eminent domain is not something I'm in favor of, but we really need to be more diligent in taking these property owners to task when it comes to keeping the property up and putting businesses in there. Another example I'll give you is there was a very nice market on Woodward called the Caros. And businesses, many cities are clamoring for a type of market that was. And according to the owner of the market, she really wanted to be in the city of Detroit, but it made it very hard for her because the person on the building would not be was being very unfair when it came to her lease rates. Now, this is the city of Detroit. It's not Chicago. It's not New York. We have to be very diligent when it comes to being fair. What would you rather have in your building? Would you rather have the building vacant as it is now, or would you rather have a viable business where people are coming there day to day, and you see commerce going on? People are buying and selling, and it's part of the city. You'd say, I like to say a renaissance, but basically a rebirth of that area of the city of Detroit. Now it's gone back to being vacant again, and doesn't look like there's anything going in there to replace what was there. So it's all about partnering and talking with everyone, not just the government talking to themselves, but talking with the community organizations, with the business owner, with the building owners, and having a viable plan on what you want to do with a certain area. And say, look, we know that you might take a hit for this short period of time, but in the long run, you're going to see more than a return on your investment, because this entire area is going to come back. But we want you to be a part of it. In order to be a part of it, you're going to have to be a little bit patient in terms of getting your investment back. Because right now you're empty, and the only thing you're doing is paying us taxes every year. But if we can get some people in here to lease it for a fair price, where we can help get their business going, and you'll see customers come in, that'll change the whole dynamic of the community.